Hi guys, it's Mrs. Glenn. Welcome to the 7-5 Bellwork and Notes. Today is February 5th. Make sure you write down all of the Bellwork and all of the notes in your notebook. All right, let's get started. Number 11. So we have Sammy is making a nightstand in the shape of a box with a volume of x to the third plus 20x squared plus 99x cubic inches. What are the dimensions of the nightstand if x equals 18 inches? Explain. So we are going to plug 18 in wherever x is. And you're going to solve. So we have to do 18 to the third power, and then 18 squared, and then we're going to multiply by 20, and then 18 times 99. So 20 times 324 is 6,480. We add these three numbers together, and you get 14,094 cubic inches. So that means that's the size of the nightstand. So cubic inches means the length, the width, and the height. So it's in essence is the volume of the nightstand. If you were to pour it full of water, it would be able to hold that much. Number 12. So write the factored form of the trinomial. So you're going to use your factor table, and we're going to do a times c for the first one, which is 32, and then b is negative 12. And what multiplies to be 32 that adds to be negative 12? Well, that would be negative 8 and negative 4. So we put negative 8 and negative 4 on the right side of each parentheses, and then you're going to take the square root of the first term, which is actually a squared, so we need to put a and a on the left-hand side. And then for the middle one, we have u squared plus 6u minus 16, so 1 times negative 16 is negative 16. The middle term is 6, so what multiplies to be negative 6 that also adds to be 6, and that would be 8 and negative 2. And that adds to be positive 6. So again, we're going to make sure we have the correct variables. So we have u on this side instead of x. I know it's easy to remember, like put x down, but we want to make sure we're answering the question that's being asked. So they're actually u's. And then the last one, we're going to do the same thing. A times c and what adds to b. So we have negative 18 and negative 7, so those two numbers would be 2 and negative 9. So we put that on the right-hand side, and again, we need to change these to m's. And you would have m plus 2 and m minus 9. All right, and that is it for number 12. So example number 4, this is the second day of 7-5, so we're going to finish up 7-5 today. How does the multiplying binomials in two variables relate to factoring trinomials? So I want you to take a look at these three examples. So you can see that the first example has x plus 2y and x plus 4y. And if you notice, 2 times 4 is your 8, and 2 plus 4 is your 6. So all of the pattern, all you're doing is you're multiplying and getting the last term, and then you're adding and getting the middle, and the first term will be squared of the first variable, and the last term will be squared with the right variable, and then you just put the two variables together in the middle, like x and y. So that's for if it was positive, positive. If you have one positive and one negative, then you need to also have one positive and one negative in your two binomials. And then if you have a negative first and then a positive, we need to make sure we have two negatives, because the last two terms will actually, when you multiply a negative times a negative, will be a positive. So each trinomial has the form of x squared plus bxy plus cy squared, where trinomials of this form are factorable when there is a factor pair of c that has a sum of b. So I know this might sound confusing, but I'm actually going to show you what that looks like in a second. So what is the factored form of x squared plus 10xy plus 24y squared? So again, we're going to use that form they just told us, and we're going to make our factor table just like before. So a times c is 24, and b is 10. So what multiplies to be 24 that adds to be 10? Well, that would be 6 and 4. So we're going to put 6y on the left and 4y on the right. It's literally that simple. So just make sure that the x's are on the left and the y's are on the right, and the y's will actually have the two factors that you found in the factor table. So now to check your work to make sure we have the right answer, we're just going to FOIL, combine like terms in the middle, and you get 10xy in the middle. I don't know why I didn't write that, but let me write that right now. Come on, get rid of the green. There we go. All right, red. So these two will combine to have x squared plus 10xy plus 24y squared, which matches our original problem, so we know we are right. So that means our answer should be x plus 6y times x plus 4y. All right, so that's 4a and 4b for try it. So we're going to do the same thing, create our factor tables. 1 times 32 is 32, and what adds to be 12? So that would be 8 and 4. And we put x plus 8y and x plus 4y, and you are done. So we're going to check our answers to make sure we're right. And those do match, so we are correct, x plus 8y and x plus 4y. And then on the right-hand side, same thing, 1 times 21 is 21. What adds to be negative 10? Well, that would be negative 3 and negative 7. So then we put those negative 3y and negative 7y. But this time, if you notice, we actually have minus signs, because remember the rule, if one is negative in the front and positive at the end, we have to have two negatives to create that positive. So we have negative 3y and negative 7y. So when you FOIL it, the middle two terms will end up being negative 10xy. So let's see if it matches, and it does, so we know we have the right answer. And here's example number 5. Benjamin is designing a new house. The bedroom closet will have one wall that contains a closet system using 3 different size storage units. The number of and the amount of the wall space needed for each of the 3 types of storage units is shown. What are the dimensions of the largest amount of wall space that will be needed? So you're taking a look at these 3, and you can see that we have x squared will be the first term, so that's 1x squared. And then we have 12 storage units over here would be your 12x. And then we have 35 that will be the last term. And then to factor that, you can create a table. So this is one way of doing it. I like to create my t-chart, but what 2 numbers will add to be 35 multiply to be 35 that add to be 12, and that's 5 and 7. So your 2 factors are x plus 5 by x plus 7. And that would be the dimensions of this storage unit. All right, let's do a try it. Same thing. We have the same storage unit but different numbers this time. So one storage unit is your x squared. Your 12x is the storage units on the right, and then the 11 units on top. So what 2 numbers will add to be 11 that add to be 12 that multiply to be 11, and that's 11 and 1. So we put 11 on one side, 1 on the other, and that means the largest dimension will be x plus 1 by x plus 11. Literally that easy. All right, and that is the end of 7.5. So go ahead and take a screenshot of the concept summary. So remember, we have B and C have to be positive in order to do the method that we had where the middle term is the variables times themselves and what they add to be in the middle. So remember, the factor table will help you factor any polynomial. And we have when the values of both B and C are both positive and the second terms are both positive, we would have 2 positive binomials. If the first is negative and the second is positive, then you have 2 negative polynomials where you have minus signs in between. And if you have where C is negative, then that means you have a positive and a negative in your binomial. So your homework tonight is 7.5 odds only, Math Excel, and 7.5 lesson quiz. I will see you guys on Monday.